Today's episode of Variant is brought to you by Domain.com.
Today on Variant, I talk Red Skull and comics in general with writer Josh Williamson. Welcome to Variant. We love comics more than I can't wait for Season 2 of The Flash. I'm your host, Arris Quinones. So recently I hopped on a Skype call with my buddy Josh Williamson. For those of you who don't know, he's written tons of great comics like Nailbiter, Birthright, Battleworld Red Skull, and the upcoming ongoing Marvel series Illuminati, and many other titles. So I talked to him about some of his work and what we can expect from future Red Skull issues and his upcoming Illuminati series. So let's see what Josh had to say.
Isn't the only thing you're writing for Image. You're also doing Birthright, which is your newest ongoing for Image. So
yeah.
How's that been, and what is that story about? I know this one is, you're going away from the horror, like scary elements and mystery type stuff, and then going into more adventure, fantasy type thing. So
Birthright is about a little boy who goes missing, and he completely just disappears while he's playing catch with his dad one day in the park. He just completely disappears, and it destroys the family. You know, everyone thinks the dad either murdered the kid or someone kidnapped him, but they're, you know, it's real life, right? Like, you just assume the kid is dead or something bad had happened.
Right.
A year passes and the family has been wrecked. Like, the mom and dad are getting divorced. The dad has become an alcoholic, just, you know, drunk, who's just down all the time because everyone accuses him of his son.
Right.
And then he had an older brother. The older brother's getting fights at school, and he feels, you know, kind of like torn between his parents. They're getting divorced. And one day, the FBI calls and was like, "We need you to come into the office. We have something. We need you to come in." So he comes in the office, and they introduce him to this, like, giant Conan-looking guy. And they say, "We believe this is your son. We believe..." And so this guy tells them that even though it's only been 1 year for the family, it was 20 years for him. And what had happened was he was kidnapped by these mythical creatures who took him to a fantasy land to defeat this evil lord, save a princess, rescue a kingdom, and he did all those things, and now he's back, and all he wants to do is see his mom and dad. That's what the book's about. There's a lot more twists to it than that.
It doesn't end there. It does not end there.
No, that's just that's not even all of issue 1. That's like the first half of issue 1.
It's true, and I know the twist, and let me just say, it's a very cool twist. Well, moving along, like you don't only have books or have done books for Image, you've also done stuff for DC and Marvel. But let's talk about you did a little run on Batman, Legends of the Dark Knight. What's really cool about your little run on it was an origin tale of how Batman learns his disappearing trick, which I thought was really cool. I was like, you know what? That's a really cool thing to touch on. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So was that something that you just always wanted to write? You're like, you know, that's a big part of Batman's mythos. It's all in the cartoons. It's in all the Batman movies. I just want to write something about it and explain it. Or, you know, DC was like, here, we want you to talk about this. How did that come about?
That was all my idea, man.
Nice.
Like, I have been wanting to do a book about, like, I mean, dude, I have so many pitch documents and, like, notebooks that are basically, like, the adventures of young Bruce Wayne, and do these stories about, like, 13-year-old Bruce Wayne traveling the world with Alfred, you know, when he was young and before he came back to Gotham and then left again. And it was, like, this whole thing about how I've always wanted to do stories about that, you know? And, like, I had a bunch of different ideas for it.
Right.
And I just submitted. I was like, hey, this is what I want to do. I have these ideas. This is what it is. And that was one of the main ones that I always kind of wanted to do. And they took it, you know, like it took a second to get it approved, I think, because they were a little worried about things. This is a long time ago. This is before, I was pitching this before Gotham was even a thing, right? And so they were a little worried about making sure things didn't get too touchy with it. It's actually really cool about that book is all those issues have, like, young Bruce Wayne running around with Michaela, like, they're all they're being, you know, teenage ninjas, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it worked out really well, and I'm really happy that with that book. I love that book a lot. I always tell them whenever I see them. But yeah, that book was a lot of fun to do. Like, I kind of wish I can get back to that, but we'll see what happens. We'll see what the future holds.
Well, I was going to say, because I would love, like, you to do a Batman book where it's kind of like you said, you know, the young adventures of Bruce with, you know, Alfred kind of, you know, while in his training years, traveling around the world, you know, learning different techniques and stuff like that. That'd be basically Gotham in comic book form, but cooler.
Yeah, I know. It would be a lot of fun. I think I would enjoy doing that, but, you know, we'll see what happens.
You're currently doing Red Skull or Battleworld Red Skull for Marvel. It's only one issue in, but so you can't tell us too much about it because we still got 2 issues to go. It's a 3-issue miniseries. So tell us what the premise of that is and how it interacts with the whole Secret Wars event going on at Marvel.
You know, during Secret Wars are all the different little kingdoms. In that world, the Red Skull is supposed to be dead. If you read Secret Wars 2, you see a lot of times people are punished. They are sent over the wall. They're sent over the shield to be killed by the zombies on the other side. And so that is what happened to Red Skull. They sent him over the shield to die, and he should have died. Like, everyone just assumes he's dead. Sort of whispers that he is alive, and he's leading a rebellion, and he's going to try to kill Doctor Doom again. And he is sort of building this army of other bad people like him. He's going to try and do something evil. Doctor Doom and Sheriff Strange get together, and they basically assemble a team of villains, which is like Magneto, Winter Soldier, who's not a villain in that story.
Mm-hmm.
But he kind of goes because it's the Red Skull, and he wants to kill the Red Skull, of course, right? Winter Soldier, Electro, Lady Deathstrike, Moonstone, and Jack-O-Lantern. All from different realities, all from different timelines. They're all assembled with the mission of finding the Red Skull's body, if he is alive, to kill him and then bring his body back. And they all go over the wall, they all go over the shield, the Deadlands, and a lot of bad things happen to them. I mean, the first issue, if you read it, it's super screwed up, like bad things happen to them immediately.
It's like a horse out of a gate and just like takes
Yeah,
off.
yeah, and so the story then sort of is about the ramifications of that and then dealing with the Red Skull. Like, I don't think it's a spoiler to say the Red Skull is alive. I think that's expected.
Yeah.
But it's sort of about how he is this evil, manipulative person.
Right.
The greatest power the Red Skull has isn't, guns or his super strength. It's how manipulative he is. It's literally, that guy is a force of evil.
It's his influence, like most, evil people in the world. It's because
Yeah.
their influence and what they're able to, have other people do or just,
Yes.
control.
And it's a story about how him and the Deadlands can corrupt people and make them do things they wouldn't normally do and sort of betray themselves. And then there's ramifications for that. Like, what happens to you if you're the kind of person that would let yourself, align yourself with the Red Skull? You don't get to align yourself with the Red Skull without something bad happening to you.
So it's pretty safe to say by issue 3, when, the finale of that series, that there will be some pretty significant changes.
Yes.
So you're doing that, but that's going to come to an end with issue 3. But it was just announced somewhat recently that after this, you will be doing a new ongoing for Marvel, Illuminati. But this Illuminati is a little different because they're all villains.
Yes.
So
it's between, whatever happens with Secret Wars and the new books, the 8 months in between, the Hood has sort of built this new, all different Illuminati, right? It's this new sort of secret order of villains that he is kind of trying to build. And in the 8 months, he has kind of built parts of it. Like, he has done things to try to establish this new order, the new Illuminati. And so he goes and starts recruiting villains and basically explaining them he has a plan. And a big part of it is he thinks that, it's like this. It's like, Red Skull, Doctor Doom, Thanos, all those guys, they want to blow up the world. They want to take over. They want to blow stuff up.
Mm-hmm.
Some villains, all they want to do is rob a bank.
They want to keep it simple.
Yeah, they just want to earn a buck. They want money and they kind of want power, but they don't want to ruin the world doing it. Back if, I'm going to go way back, but when the Superman versus Spider-Man comic, part of that book was that Dr. Octopus realized that Lex wanted to destroy the world.
Mm-hmm.
He was paying Dr. Octopus to help him.
Right.
And Doc Ock was like, wait a minute. If you destroy the world, that money's worthless.
Exactly.
And the Hood is kind of aware of those ideas, and I've always been very interested in the conflicts of motivation between villains, because not all villains are going to get along. Not all villains have the same motivations and the same desires, and the Hood is aware of that. And so the Hood sort of starts building this team of people. So it's him, it's the Hood, Titania, Eric O'Grady, the Black Ant, Enchantress, Mad Thinker, and Thunderball from the Wrecking Crew.
So that's our new Illuminati lineup.
Yeah, there's more characters in that, but that's basically for this specific story, that's who's in it. And so it's about them sort of trying to find ways of leveling up, so to say. The Hood has realized the best version of himself is the best villain in the world, right?
Right.
He's realizing that, not to be the worst version of himself, but he's starting to realize that, the best version of himself is this, is the bad guy.
Right.
So,
that's what he's good at. That's who he is. So it's why change it, kind of?
Yeah, exactly. He has this line he says in issue 1 and issue 2 where he's talking. It's sort of a thing he discusses with the team where he says, bad guys win every day. If you look around our world, bad guys win every single day. Why not us?
That's awesome.
And so that's sort of what that's his selling pitch to people when he wants to make them join the Illuminati.
Right.
And then they go on adventures where they're, committing crimes.
I just want to say thank you to Josh for taking time out of your busy day to come on the show. He's written some great content, and I'm sure we'll continue to do so. Especially check out his Birthright book. That title is amazing. But also make sure to follow Josh on Twitter, and be sure to check out his website. I put the links for both in the description below. When you buy a domain name from domain.com, you get the power to influence and control what people find when they search for you online. No domain extension will help you tell your story like a .com or .net domain name. Domain.com is affordable, reliable, and easy to use. The guys at domain.com gave Variants an awesome offer. Get 15% off domain.com's already affordable domain names and web hosting when you use the coupon code Variants at checkout. So when you think domain names, think domain.com. First up for Wednesday, August 12th is Secret Wars issue 5. The biggest Marvel event of the summer continues, and if you're a Marvel fan and not reading this, what the heck is wrong with you? Here we have Justice League Gods and Monsters issue 1. This is a prequel to the awesome DC Universe movie Justice League Gods and Monsters, meaning I'm definitely interested. Now we have Batman Superman issue 23. The truth storyline continues as Superman must learn to depend on the new Batman's help, but can he trust him? And finally we have Batman issue 43. Putting it short and simple, we get a new Batman villain, Mr. Bloom. And that'll bring another episode of Variant to a close. But remember, you can always like our Variant Facebook page, keep up with the show and all things comic related. You can also follow Variant on Twitter at Variant Comics or me on Twitter at Arris_Quinones. Also, if you like what you see, be sure to subscribe to our channel. But I'll see you guys next week when I talk about all things comics.
People who don't know about Ghosted, what is it about? Give everyone a big spiel.
So Ghosted is Ocean's 11 in a haunted house instead of a casino.